Hello. This is Aubrey Bursch with Easy School Marketing. I'm excited you're here with me today. So we're going to talk about 8 common strategic planning mistakes that schools make. Now, I know so many schools that are embarking on strategic planning right now because they held off on it during COVID years. And now, we're sort of in COVID, sort of out of COVID, but now is the time they're really diving into it. So here's some of the mistakes that I see and I hope your school won't make. So number 1, they don't collect data before they head into strategic planning. So they're like, yeah, it's strategic planning. Let's gather our board and like these people, and we're just going to sit in a room and we're going to map out what's happening for the next 1 to 3 years. So basically, that's like people sharing their opinions and their feelings and what they think. And it's actually not using data. And if you're not using data, if you don't understand why people come to you, why people are staying, if you're launching a new program or considering it and you're not asking these things and figuring out even if you have a market for that, that's a problem because you cannot strategically plan without data. So remember the data, folks. It's really important. Number 2, you do not hire a facilitator or you do not train someone to be a facilitator for your group. And so it's just kind of like this random sort of like non-directed approach. And it often takes longer because no one's really kind of leading it in a structured and informed way. So I highly recommend considering a facilitator or at least training someone so that they can be a very effective facilitator for your group. Number 3, not reporting out. So there's this thing where we like hopefully you've done the data and the marketing research to head into strategic planning. That's a lot of times what we work with schools on, and hopefully you've done that. And so let's say you have now a report with all the data and all the themes, and you have answers to all those questions. And so clearly you've asked people for their they've been interviewed or surveyed, okay? But the problem is if you don't report back. So you've done the strategic planning work, but then you haven't really reported back to your parent community and then the external community, like, we're working on this, we're in progress, here's the strategic plan, all that stuff. You haven't done that communication piece. And that is really important because you want people to feel heard and invested in your school and in your vision. All right, number 4, you don't give yourself enough time. You're like, eek, it's strategic planning. We've got to get it done. Let's do it in 3 months. A thoughtful strategic planning process sometimes takes more time than 3 months. So it's figuring out like what your timeline is, when you're going to gather that data. Remember, you need the data. Who's involved? What's this look like? What are your end goals and timeline? So please figure that out and understand that these things usually take longer than you think. And then number 5, planning for more than 3 years out. We recently interviewed someone on the Mindful School Marketing podcast, and he's like, you can't really especially with technology changing, it's really hard to plan 2 years out. Look, all those people who planned out in 2019, their strategic plan, I'm sure that was like blown out of the water because of COVID, right? The unexpected happens. So I think the best practice now is like 1 to 3 years because things change so much, so just thinking, not planning, like the strategic planning of 5 to 10 years, like we used to do in schools, is no longer relevant with the pace of change and what's happening. So just remember that too. Number 6, not doing it enough and consistency. Oh, this is really important. So you're not really doing the work, the strategic planning work enough, and you're not doing it consistently. So either you are like, oh, it's time for a strategic plan. It's been like 10 years. It really should be a consistent process. And it should be something that you're saying, okay, every X years. And someone's leading that effort of like, X years, we do strategic planning, right? Number 7, you're not analyzing the action items and you're not assigning task owners. You're not laying out your action items and you're not doing it in a thoughtful manner, and then you're not assigning task owners. And why is this a problem? Because if you don't, nothing's going to happen and move your plan forward. It's just going to sit there. And that leads me to number 8, not meeting about the strategic plan regularly and checking on its progress, right? Is there an accountability system? Or you just, so many schools create this beautiful strategic plan and then it kind of sits. and they sort of revisit it, but it doesn't really happen. So don't let your plan sit. I hope you found this helpful. I'd love to hear from you. What are you doing with strategic planning right now? Email me at aubrey@easyschoolmarketing.com. Thanks.